I reflect on it, I'm just thinking about other shy children who might need an outlet like dance or music that they don't have. I truly feel that that's why arts and culture is needed, because I was that child that people really thought like I couldn't speak. I just didn't have that, like a way to
Express yourself.
to express myself. Yeah.
If you're looking for a space that feels like yours but comes with way more perks, then Bamboo's dedicated desk is exactly what you need. Now, when you sign up for a dedicated desk, what you'll get is an ergonomic chair, so your back won't be hurting while you're getting your work done. You'll also get free coffee and tea daily in order to fuel your grind. And don't forget, you get mail services and printing services right at your fingertips. And also, you get your own personal storage with the lockbox for your security and peace of mind. And it doesn't stop there. Just by being a member of any of the Bamboo locations, you get access to discounts from local businesses. So if you're ready to join the Bamboo community and find a space that's yours, what I need you to do right now is to go ahead and email Malika at bamboocowork.com or give them a call at 313-766-0134 and tell them that the Black Fridays podcast sent you. And right now, while the desks are available, if you sign up for a 6-month commitment, you'll get 1 month free. Or if you sign up for a 12-month commitment, you'll get 2 whole months free. I look forward to seeing you at the Bamboo locations. With that being said, let's get into the episode. What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, make sure you drop a comment, send a video to family, friend, and loved ones so that we can keep this thing going. Now that I got that out of the way, we got someone who is teaching not only the state of Michigan about Black dance and culture, but expanding it out to the entire world. Ajara Agali, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I would love to be able to, you are the artistic director and founder of the TeMaTe Institute, Black Dance and Culture. And so I would like to start there with understanding, what is your love story with dance and culture? How did you fall into dance yourself?
I hate to always say this, but I've been dancing all of my life, really. My parents would say that when I was just a baby in diapers, that my dad would turn on music, particularly soukous music from the Congo, and I would bounce on my bottom to the rhythm. But it wasn't just a bounce. They said I would get higher and higher and higher, and people were like, I can't believe she bouncing so high. And people would come to the house and say, play some music. We want to see Ajara bounce. So my mom always tells people, well, she's just had it in her all of her life. But professionally, I've been dancing for about 20 years in the traditional West African discipline. And I just happened to really accidentally fall into it. I was an undergrad at Oakland University, and I was walking down the hall and I heard drumming. And I was like, what is going on? And I peeked in and I said, okay, what is this? And then so I left and came back the next week and they were still there. And it has been a love affair ever since. I'm so upset with my parents that they didn't introduce me to this when I was a child, because I think that it really would have been like a game changer just in terms of like how I view myself in the world. But I will say that I grew up in a very culturally rich house. So it's not that I wasn't aware, but it was just like the expression. Because I grew up as a very shy child, and I think that would have helped me express myself more, because my mom she asked a cousin of mine when I was like 5. She asked my cousin, like, is everything okay with Ajara? Because I just I wasn't a talker, and my cousin like assure her like, no, she talks, she just probably just doesn't talk to you, but she probably, she's talking to me. And so like that, just experience, as I reflect on it, I'm just thinking about other shy children who might need an outlet like dance or music that they don't have. And I'm going on a tangent, but I truly feel that that's why arts and culture is needed, because I was that child that people really thought like I couldn't speak. I just didn't have that, like a way to like
Express yourself.
to express myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so what made you want to, you have your own love and passion of dance and culture. What made you want to actually open up an institute to be able to expose other people to? Because, you could just do your own thing and dance in your own, in your own capacity, but why expose it or open it up for other people?
To be honest, because it's not mine to hog to myself. It's ours. It is the quote unquote culture. And so like if I learn something, if I know something, what type of person does that make me to not share it and be able to expose other people to the joy and the passion that I get from dance and music? So that's just my motto about it, is that it's our culture. It's not mine. It is ours to enjoy collectively.
And when did that light bulb go off for you? Like, where were you at in life, and what time frame was it for you when you said, you know what, I'm actually going to turn this into a thing, and I'm actually going to make my own institute?
It was actually during COVID, because dance classes were shut down, and I was just thinking, what am I going to do? And so like TeMaTe was started with a few other individuals, but we didn't have the same outlook on it. Some thought of it as a hobby, while I was thinking to myself, I'm not trying to do all this hard work for a hobby. Like, what? We none of us have time for that. And I said, no, like, I'm going to make this passion, I'm going to turn it into something. And so I created a 501c3 with a couple of other individuals that are now part of our board. We started off as like a group of advisors that turned into our board, and we've been like steadily growing ever since.
And TeMaTe has a meaning behind it. What could you tell us more about that?
Yes, so TeMaTe means the most beautiful in the Wobe language of the Ivory Coast. So it is the most beautiful institute of Black dance and culture.
Very nice. And so I got more questions for you, of course, but I want to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays. Hey, listen, thank you all so much for listening to this episode and any episode of the Black Fridays podcast. But I got to be honest with y'all, I really think it's something missing, and I hate that y'all didn't notice it. The thing that's missing is your podcast. Why am I not listening to your podcast? You talked about making one with your friends years ago. You know that you need one to better market and promote your business, but yet you still don't have one. This is why I created the Pocket Podcasting course, to teach you how to be able to podcast with the essentials and tools that you have right at your fingertips in order to create. And I created 2 different ways in order for you to do that. You could join my digital do-it-yourself on-demand video recorded Pocket Podcasting course, where I go literally step by step from idea on how you upload your very first podcast episode. And for my people who like to have something a little bit more tangible, I have created a digital ebook that walks you through my podcasting journey, the things I've learned along the way, the tools and equipment that I use in order to create and elevate my show. Now, look, I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Go ahead and head over to www.blackfridayspod.com to learn more about the digital podcast course and also the podcasting ebook, or you can hit the links in the show notes to take you directly to each of those resources. All right, enough of that. Time to get back into the episode. So I hope that you came with some bars. I hope you're ready to sing, do some poetry. You can dance, do some interpretive dance if you want to.
Freestyle Friday.
Or you could just answer rapid fire questions, which is what Freestyle Fridays actually is.
Okay. I'll do whatever. I was like, okay. I'm just like, okay, go.
All right, the first one is a layup. What do you have in rotation right now? What are you listening to music wise?
Oh, music wise, I think I'm listening to Bodega Baddie by Cardi B.
Okay.
And Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. That's on rotation. Oh my goodness. And another one that I usually go to is the Jones Girls, Nights Over Egypt. So that's like always. I'd be like, if I gotta get pumped up for something, I'd be like Cardi B. If I just want to be mellow, then it is the Jones Girls. But sometimes if I need like motivation to clean up the house, then it's like Phil Collins. So I'd be like, let me just put this on, and then I go into autopilot.
Okay. You know? Fair enough. And then are you a millennial? Do you fall into that bracket?
I do and don't. So like I was born in 79. Okay. So not, but I have more in exactly because
you got more in common with millennials.
No, like we're not anything really.
Yeah.
And so I know that sounds so, because people say, oh, we're zillennials or something.
Yeah.
Because we understand both. Like I'm definitely not a Gen X. My sister is, and I'd be like, ugh. And then like millennials, but I will say like I view myself as a millennial because like we all went to high school together, you know? So yeah.
So I was going to ask you, what's your favorite dance move from the 90s?
My favorite move from the 90s is the hammer.
How you want to demonstrate it for us?
Oh my God. Yes, I can. I definitely can. I'm out here. So it's this one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Is that made popular by MC Hammer? Is that why I call it the Hammer? Or it's just called the Hammer?
Actually, I don't know, but I still do all of MC Hammer's choreography. Okay. So, and actually, I don't know if that was the Hammer or if that was the Roger Rabbit. See, now I'm really telling my age.
Yeah, we got to do some research.
Right, we got to do some research. I'm like, was that the Roger Rabbit? I think the Roger Rabbit was like Sad to Sad. But don't quote me.
Okay, all right. I'm definitely gonna look it up.
I still got it though. I mean, I'm still out here though.
Clearly, yeah. If you could pack your bag and travel anywhere tomorrow, where would you go?
I would say Mombasa, Kenya. Because I've just been really trying to go. Like, I have not visited the east coast of Africa yet. As many times as I've been on the continent. Oh, I take that back. I was on the east part of South Africa, but not like Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, or anything. And I've just been really biased to West Africa, maybe because it's popular, like that's what people just gravitate to. Mm-hmm. But I definitely want to see, I just want to expose myself to another lens in terms of how I view the continent. So yeah, I would definitely say Mombasa, Kenya.
Very dope. Mm-hmm. And do you have a dance or creative inspiration? If it's a person, if it's a place, a thing, anything that inspires you in your art?
I would definitely say Pearl Primus. So Pearl Primus was a dancer. She was a researcher, but she was probably one of the first, if not the first, Black woman to receive grant funding to travel to Africa to study dance. And so when she was there, she went to the country of Liberia. Mm-hmm. And she brought back like her way of her interpretation of what she learned while she was in Liberia. Now, she made the dances her own. And that had the dances that she created, like funga, have been like a staple part of like the Black African dance culture nationally, right? That's like a foundation. However, though, while it's been a foundation, people, we other dancers have been able to use that as like a starting point, like I said, a foundation to learn more, and so I'm always saying, well, if you know more, you'll do more. And so that is how I want to be able to see myself. Like now, the world is much smaller than when Pearl Primus traveled, and like it's accessible enough where we can go and we don't have to like interpret anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go and like be able to stay and study under and like develop and innovate the choreographies and the teachings and the learnings that we get over in the continent, because so many of us are exposed now. During those times, like in the 50s and 60s, she had to do what she had to do in order to expose everyone, because it wasn't that easy to travel back and forth to the continent. And now, we're able to do so. And, using those teachings, we're able to like to innovate more now.
Very dope. Well, thank you for partaking in Freestyle Fridays and actually dancing for us. I think you're the first person to ever dance during Freestyle Fridays. So we made some history, a little bit of history here on Black Fridays. And I wanted to go back into talking about your journey with the Institute, because one thing I don't believe that I asked is that for people who have not been exposed to TeMaTe yet, what would you say, what services do you offer? What programming do you provide? And then also, well, I'll save that part for my next question, but what services do you offer and what do you provide if people wanted to come check you all out?
Services is a cultural immersion, I would say. We have drum classes, dance classes. We also do performances. We were at the African World Festival right after Sounds of Blackness, where we did a 45-minute show with storytelling and drumming. We are now actually partners with Detroit Public Schools District. So we'll be having like year-round instruction at various schools to be able to make this not only like, okay, you'll see something at African World Festival or Black History Month, but exposure to our culture could be year round. And it's also like you would be getting like education too, but in a fun way, because I view us here in Detroit, around the country, around the globe of the African diaspora, part like a root of a tree. And we're all just representing different branches. And if we like understand that connection, and while respecting the fact that we are different, it could lead to some like monumental progress and growth to me. So I think like that's what we offer is like, you're able to just come in and ask questions, like, and it's a safe space to be able to ask those questions if you are curious about like different cultures, different styles of, because it's not only like, okay, West African dance, but, we bring in, individuals that do Congolese dance, Haitian dance, Trinidadian dance. We did Afrobeats. We did we hosted a JIT class. So it's really about the connection of Black people, and that's what I love most.
For sure. And what was the inspiration to root it in West African style dancing?
Well, West African dance is my bag. And so I wanted to root it in that because essentially, Black people, when we're thinking about the diaspora, the diaspora has grown since enslaved Africans were brought over to this country. But that's where we came from as Black people in America. So being able to trace that, and then all of the linkages and the connectivity, because if you really think about it, when you go to Brazil or Haiti or Cuba, it's the same practices that they have done and continue to do along the west coast of Africa. It's the same thing. It's just a different language that they put on it now because we were removed from our ancestral languages, but it's the same practices. You know what I mean? Just like in the South Carolina coast, those individuals were there because they knew how to harvest rice. And the rice coast of West Africa, where my father is from, it's Sierra Leone, it's Liberia, it's the Ivory Coast. But those are things that were, brought over, and I wanted to root it in West African dance because of that.
Mm-hmm. And just having a conversation with you on camera now and then previously, before we started recording, noticing you have a lot of historical knowledge in terms of the African diaspora and how things have migrated to here in Detroit and the States overall. For you, is this something that you have learned in your journey in building out TeMaTe and the Institute, or have you always kind of been like a historian for these type of things?
I hate to say, because it might sound cliche, but I've always been a history buff since I was a child. I remember my sister and I boycotting Reebok.
Okay.
I think I was 7 and she was 6. And we said, we no longer want to wear Reeboks because they support the South African apartheid government. And we not with that. And my parents were like, okay. And my mom would say, you guys, people don't want to come to the house because they say y'all depressing. Because we always used to be like, did you know that this is happening? Did you know that this is going on? Like, we were just socially conscious kids. My dad, probably a typical African, would watch CNN and all the news channels, but we didn't go into another room and play video games. We actually sat there and watched the news with him. I remember when Nelson Mandela was freed from prison, and it was probably as if we won $1 million that day. The screaming that we had in the house, and like my dad was just overjoyed. But we felt that too. We knew all about Nelson Mandela and Steve Biko. I can't remember how many times I watched Cry Freedom and how I was so mad. I was like, what is going on? And I was like, not even 10, just thinking about Eyes on the Prize and like the many times that when Roots came out, we were right at that TV for the whole week watching. But that's just the house. Like I said, I hate to sound cliche, but it was just, we were just those type of kids. I have no idea where that came from. We were just always like politically aware.
I'm glad you brought up Roots because it's some Black people. I'm talking to this camera. Some Black people that have not seen Roots yet. I would advise that you figure out how to watch it. There's a thing called the internet, and you need to figure out how to watch Roots, and you need to watch the entire series, not the remake. You can watch that too after you watch the original, but you need to tap in and watch Roots. Now I got to ask you this, because you said that you always been tapped into the culture and socially conscious. You been shopping at Target lately?
I haven't, and
Okay.
You know what? But side note, but I don't even know how that happened. I'm not saying I didn't know about the boycott.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, how did I just stop shopping at Target? I don't. I haven't been to Target in a while.
Yeah.
I've been going into Family Dollar, and I've been like, oh, the long line in Family Dollar, just waiting. And I just been like, just ring me up, baby girl. Like, I'm here. Yeah, but nope.
I was curious because the seems that the efforts or some of the blowback from the boycott has actually been working, given the fact that, you know, some of the things that they went back on and promises that they made to not only our community but others. And so, yeah, I was wondering if you had partook in that, granted that you had boycotted Reebok at 7 years old.
Yeah, and I also canceled my Hulu subscription, and
What
I
Hulu
didn't
do?
get it. Huh?
What Hulu do?
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, I said I'm done with them too. I was like, that's $10 a month. That could go in my pocket again. So I was just I'm out here. I'm out here watching regular TV with my dang on antenna now. But,
Right, because they want to act up.
I was just like, really? Y'all gonna do that? Okay, well, I'll cancel you too. I mean, it's nothing I'll do without it. I mean, I was always the person that'll jailbreak something. Like, I'll get it. I'll get it one way or another.
Allegedly, because, you know, they be watching.
Right.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. Yes, allegedly. Yes. I'm gonna get it one way or another.
Come on now. Come on. So let me ask you this. How have you been able to, through your art of dance and the Institute, how have you been able to bring some of that social consciousness into the spaces that you enter? Because I know you mentioned you are now partnered with DPSCD and also participating in the African World Festival here and some of the other programming and events that you've done. How are you able to bring some of that social consciousness into the art of dance?
Wow, you asking really good questions. So, it's two initiatives that I've been working on and the organization has been working on. The first one is about access, right? And so one of our values is TeMaTe is for everybody. And we put all caps on body. And it doesn't matter your shape, size, whatever, you know. But also on top of that is we also highlight, you know, the accessibility part of it, financial accessibility. We were able to receive a grant from the city of Detroit to allow some of our classes to be free for low income households. That's something that is very important to me, because now you'll go to a dance class and it's $30. I can't afford $30. How am I supposed to be talking about access to arts and culture for our community and I'm not addressing the financial access about it, right? And so that is something that is important to me. But also access in terms of disabilities. And so this year we will have a ASL interpreter. When we think about it, as a hearing person, I take for granted that I am able to interact in the way that I do with music, right? And so as a director of an organization that is looking to extend access to arts and culture, I have to be mindful that it is not only me. It's everybody, right? And so I said that's a mission of mine, to make sure that I am producing shows that is accessible, and I want it to be accessible. I mean I truly do, and that is something that is really close to my heart. And so accessibility is like what we've been striving for. I mean, we're not perfect, but I do think all organizations need to be thinking about that. We're a small organization, so I feel like if we could do it, a lot of larger organizations could do it also. And another initiative is we have been awarded some funds from the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan to really research young people's attitudes around Black cultural arts, right? I can't be an individual a leader of an organization, and I'm saying that we want to build arts and culture or sustain arts and culture for the future, and I haven't asked the future if they're even interested, right? And so what does it look like to have young people at the table to just ask them questions? I'm not trying to have you in a dance class. You don't need to dance. I just want to know what you feel about arts and culture. Is it something that you think is sustainable? Do you think that a career as a dancer or a musician is viable for you right now? You know, and also the the social consciousness also that comes with, you know, art and culture. That's how movements are built. You know, so it usually starts off with, you know, artists, you know, like we could even think of like Basquiat, or like the Black Panther movement that happened in Oakland. A lot of that foundational work was dancers and musicians. Like a lot of that like consciousness came out of the African dance community. And so if we think about it in the 70s, you know, when that like political like astuteness were, you know, we were getting as a people, that's how a lot of individuals turned to the African dance community, because they wanted to connect to something bigger. And that is what I want to be able to like share with young people. But before I share that, I at least want to know if they know what the African diaspora is. I can't even assume that they will know, you know. I mean, so it's just, so those are the two initiatives that we are really, we're doing, and we want to also do more of, because it isn't about dance. While dance is great, I think in this climate right now, we really need to be thinking bigger.
Yeah.
And how do we really sustain this for everybody? And I mean body, all caps.
Got you. And with that being said, you're able to not only have those initiatives, but also curate your own events and spaces when it comes to some of that cultural relevance in terms of the arts and creativity. And I wanted you to talk about some of the events that you have created on behalf of the Institute. And I know you have one that's actually going on this weekend when people will hear this episode. So if you could talk to us about that as well.
Right. So I would say a past event that we've done and I was proud of, it was called From the Ballroom to the Dance Hall. So I, as a dancer or someone that has been like in like the dance world for a while, so the dance hall referred to the reggae dance hall, where like the culture was like happening, you know, where the dance hall queens came from, and like, you know, roots rock reggae and dance hall reggae, right? And Bob Marley, you know, that, you know, it morphed, right? And you know, from, you know, like roots reggae to like dance hall, those are different types of genres of reggae, but it's still reggae. And then the ballroom is where, you know, came out of like social consciousness with queer young people, Black and brown young people out of New York. You know, the ballroom and the Vogue was a political protest, right, from what was going on at the time. And so I combined those to show that it's similar, right? It's very similar. And to show that it's rooted in Blackness, you know, like you might see, you know, voguing going on like on TV and back when Madonna made it popular, but that is Black culture. And so we brought in Omari Wiles from New York, now is in Chicago. He was on season 3 of HBO's Legendary, and he did a Vogue workshop. And so I was, you know, being able to like show those like yeah, it's popular, but just know that it's rooted in Black culture and in Black social consciousness. And then this weekend is the convening for dance and culture. It is, I will say, our big event of the year, but like we do a lot of events, so I will say that this is our like flagship, that's a good word, our
Yeah.
flagship event for the year, and it is 2 days of dancing and drumming and performance, and we showcase dances of the diaspora. So we'll be having Trinidadian dance, Congolese dance, Afrobeat, and as well as the traditional dances of West Africa. We have an individual that has traveled all the way from Japan, originally from Senegal, but now lives in Japan to give us Sabar dance, which is the national dance of Senegal. We have instructors from the Ivory Coast, instructors, another instructor from Senegal. So it is a way to gather community, and while we're dancing, it is to be able to ask those questions in a format, in a setting where people are comfortable, right? Where people are saying, wow, like, so where did this dance come from? And, tell me more. There are dance conferences like this throughout the country. It's Chicago. Most of the dance classes or the dance conferences are usually, the larger ones are along the coast, New York, DC, Oakland. And this is a way for the Midwest, and I bring up Chicago because Chicago and Detroit for many years were like sister cities in terms of this cultural retention work that we're doing. And it's a way for the Midwest to really say, you know what, we got something going on right here, and we're going to support each other. And is also to put on for Detroit as well, to make sure like Detroiters know that this is something that's happening, and so they could tap in as well, whether or not they want to just be a spectator or they want to join full in on the classes. But also the concert is also a way that they could see what they were looking at and observing in the dance classes on the stage. And that is the work that I'm always nervous about, because it's like, okay, I've written and directed the show and choreographed some of the dances, and now it's on public display for people. And while I am an artist and I'm sensitive about my but again, it's not mine to hold on to. It's to be shared.
And for people who want to share in the experience, where is it going to be, and then how can they get access to tickets and information?
Yep. So the dance classes are going to be, the address is 3000 Finkel 48238 on the west side at Andy Arts. And our concert is going to be at Detroit School of the Arts, 123 Selden. I think the zip code is 48201. And tickets are on our website, TeMaTeDance.com/details -schedule, or you could just go on TeMaTeDance.com and then click the bar that says conference. That would be easy too.
Perfect. And you had mentioned something earlier, speaking about young people and the arts and them understanding if that's even a viable career for them, looking forward to the future. Could you give some encouraging words for young people, or maybe people who are a little bit older, who are interested or always have been interested in the arts, whether it's dance or anything different, but encouraging words to help them pursue whatever that passion might be or that fire burning inside of them?
I would definitely say do what you love. If you're not a individual that wants to be on stage, you could do costume design. You could do stage management. You know, we have a stage manager working with us. We have a projection designer who designed all of our projections that are going to be on stage. We have a tech director who designed the lighting. So it is more than just the dance and the drumming. I think arts and culture is about a larger ecosystem to make sure that we are keeping those stories and we're telling those stories and the retention of it all. And so my advice would be, figure out what speaks to you, and no path is the wrong path, and it will be revealed. I didn't think I was going to be a full-time dancer. I have a bachelor's degree in public policy and a master's degree in urban planning, but I knew I loved to dance. And so right before we received our 501c3 funding, someone said to me, "Why are you separating your career from your art?" And then she said, your art is what makes you that whole full person, and you aren't doing anyone a service by keeping them separate. And that's when I realized, like, you know what, man, that was a gem. And I started to move differently. So my work, my artistry, I'm dancing, but it's a lot of community engagement and development into it. And that's why I'm very much about like access, and I'm very much about like, what does it mean for young people, and how do we get them to tap in? Because again, it's about like the larger connectivity, and again, like being your whole person. And so going back to the advice, I will also tell young people, like, whatever you do, just do it 100%, and the accolades will come from that. Definitely.
Very dope. And what do you see in your crystal ball for TeMaTe, for you, for any other thing that you may be working on? Now, we know you got the event this weekend, but overall, what do you kind of see on the horizon for the future?
World domination.
Okay, we'll take that.
And that is world domination, and that's that.
We're going to take over the globe then.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by the podcast today. This is very insightful and enlightening and inspiring as well. And love to hear what you're doing with TeMaTe, and then also the festivities that's going on this weekend as well. I know it's going to be huge in terms of culture and a lot of great things that's going on. So we appreciate it, and definitely great to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And everybody, before I forget, where can people find you? Social media, website, all that.
TeMaTe Dance on everything, on Instagram, Facebook. Our website is TeMaTeDance.com. That's where we are. You can look for all of the colorful costuming and dancing that's going on the page.
Dope. Make sure that y'all tap in, and everybody listening and watching, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.